As Dax says, "Oh no, Luke, you piece of shit." Jem says, "What is it, Dad?" No. No. As the camera then pans around, as we see they're looking at something terrible, as we then reveal Vivian hanging on the wall, as it says, "Goodbye, Road Rats." As we then see in another language in the past, Luke's father hanging there, saying the same thing on the wall. As Dax says, "Luke," in the current day, he says, "I will kill you." As we then see Vivian hanging on the wall. As we see Dax looks absolutely shocked as he walks away, limping around, not knowing what to do. I gotta say, I really am feeling the collaboration now. Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for today. This one's going to be doing my very first review for the final batch of episodes of The Road Rats. This one is for the final mid-season premiere of the show, Season 3, Episode 7, titled Brothers to Broken. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Road Rats. This one's going to be doing my video review for Season 3B of Road Rats that is officially now begun for the final ever half of Road Rats. So yeah, take a second to take that all in. We are in the final episodes of Road Rats ever. That's it. Like literally, like we've got like 4 weeks and this series is over. So yeah. Take a second to really let that sink in while we kind of delve into it here. Very excited to delve into these 2 episodes. We had a double premiere for the Road Rats. Now, I will let you guys know as well, too. We will be covering 3A as well, too. We will go back and talk about 3A, but I'm trying to just get, you know, back up to current with Road Rats because I was very busy around the time that 3A was airing, and I didn't get to finish up the reviews like I planned to. So we will still cover 3A. We will do videos about that, but that's going to be at a later time. Plus, when the series ends, you know, we'll still have some stuff to talk about as well. So honestly, it's not even all that bad. But let's get into this here. So what did I think about the double premiere of the Road Rats? Well, in particular, this episode I really enjoyed. This was a really good one. I had an early screening for this episode, which I had a lot of fun doing. I always have to thank Megamat for doing the early screeners for these episodes. A lot of fun to do these. And we also collab this with WGM, so as well, you can also watch WGM too, because there's a whole bunch of episodes that released yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. But let's get into this here. So this one's called Brothers to Broken. And basically, the premise of this episode is after the major time skip that we had after the mid-season finale of Season 3, we then kind of resume with our characters living inside of this, like, you know, community, kind of this, like, trailer park-ish, you know, type community. And it's a really nice location. I really like the look of it. And this episode begins with a flashback, basically, to way before everything went down. This is, like, way before even the pilot, where we had Luke and we had Dax, and basically we had a little bit of knowledge added to the story of this episode that there was conflict with the Teotihuacans. We actually got to see Dax's first ever kill, and Luke was actually there to witness this, which I thought was really crazy. And we kind of get a bit of a scuffle in this, like, alleyway, right? And we get to see Dawn, who, of course, you know, worked for the Teotihuacans, and he was there, and we had kind of a, you know, a fight between the two of them, and a lot of his men got killed, right? And it was by Dax, Dax's doing, and that kind of started some conflict, right? So, I like that we kind of got that, you know, added piece of lore. I think that's really good. I also like that we phased in the Teotihuacans as well, too. I think that was a really cool addition. And I really like how we get to see what happened, because Mitchell, Luke's father, is not for this anymore. He wants Luke, his son, to get the hell out of this, you know, Road Rats, you know, crew to begin with, right? And they've already barked up the dog, if you will. So in this episode, you get this tragic backstory where Dax and Luke were actually pretty close. You find that out. But the main reason that the conflict went down the way it did with Dax and Luke is because his dad got killed. And Luke now kind of blames Dax and Red for that, Red being Dax's father. And, you know, we kind of get a little bit of a, you know, beginning of conflict. You know, they see him there, you know, hanging up on this wall and stuff like that. And it's paralleled in a really cool way, which we'll discuss later, but it's a really cool flashback, and I actually really like the knowledge of why Dax and Luke hate each other so much. I thought that was really, really good. And, well, basically in the current timeline, we've got them. They're living in a, you know, a normal life, I would say, a decently normal life. And you've got Warwick, of course, that showed up at the end of the last episode, Warwick being in the Survival of the Fittest series. If you guys don't remember, he is a huge character in the main series. I'm sure you remember him if you've watched Survival of the Fittest. And basically, he goes up to them, and we have a pretty interesting plot in this one where we get them approaching this, like, big, like, you know, almost like, you know, labor camp, I guess, if you will. And it's led by this guy named Edgar. He's like a huge villain in this one. And can I just say, I love the design that they made for this guy with the red and crap on his face. Like the scarring and stuff like that. He looks badass, man. I can't lie. He looks so cool. And I love his appearance. I think it's really, really good. And I love the environments of this episode as well, too, because you have Porkchop and you have some of our other characters that kind of get caught out there, you know, in a scout or whatever. And, you know, they get caught in this labor camp, and Dax and the rest of them have to kind of come in now and get involved, you know. So you get this big battle inside of this labor camp, and I thought it was really good, you know. Edgar was a fun little kind of mini villain. Again, his appearance is really great. We even have Cypher that's involved in this one as well, too, who brutally is torturing some of our characters, which was awesome to see. And, you know, it's a really cool environment. My favorite thing about this in particular is how involved Vivian was, which I guess, you know, knowing the way shows like this go, especially in the showrunner community, when a character gets a lot of screen time, you probably should be afraid for them, you know what I'm saying? And Vivian was a dope-ass character this episode, and of course, spoiler warning, towards the end of the episode, she ends up dying, right? So we have this battle that's going on. You know, they do end up, you know, going in there, you know, battling, you know, everybody and stuff like that in this labor camp. And you know what's the craziest part is that they don't even get Porkchop back. They do not get Porkchop back. He gets captured in there. He is still captured by the time this episode is done. And, it's a really intense episode to kind of see this like battle kind of play out. And one of my favorite parts is when you have Dax that kind of goes in there and finds the girl that he, of course, saw in episode 2 when he was forced to kill her brother, right? And now she has to, like, you know, just sit there and, like, you know, accept that Dax is breaking her out and stuff like that. And you can tell she's admittedly afraid of Dax, which, you know, understandably so. And I like that added piece of story. I think that's really good. And I think, in general, this episode does a really great job of representing the past and the present, because you then have Dax that's held at gunpoint by Cypher. And Cypher wants to know, where have you guys been hiding out at? Like, where is your location? And they don't give it away. We have Warwick that comes in clutch. We have the rest of them that come in clutch. They save Dax's life. And it's really intense. But the standoff was really good. And the battle in this location was really good, too. And I like it because when everything's kind of said and done, you think everything's over. And then you get that final little fuck you from Cypher, where we get a flashback of him killing Vivian. And then in the current timeline, we have her that's literally displayed out there in the same fashion that Luke's father was displayed in the past, right? And the past and present kind of parallel each other, which I thought was a nice touch. I'm a sucker for that. I love when stories do that. But it was really good, you know what I'm saying? It was really good. It was a really, really intense moment. And I will say this, you know, Vivian's death, it kind of put me off at first, I will be honest, but in the end, I think the death works. I think it works perfectly, and I think it's well done to parallel everything else. So, I'm going to be honest, I got a 10 for this one. I love this episode. This episode was amazing. I had no issues here. It was fantastic. The story was just fucking amazing, and the labor camp was great. Edgar was fantastic. Cypher was really intense, and we had a big character death paralleling the past and connecting the pieces and stuff like that. And one of the biggest things I always kind of said too, and obviously I didn't review all of 3A, so you know, you guys will get this information later, but one of the biggest things that kind of disjointed my interest in Road Rats for a little bit is the supernatural element and the, you know, the eye and like the, you know, this and that. I don't think we needed any of that. I really don't, because this episode represents why Luke doesn't like the Road Rats. Honestly, the motives could have just been this, and I would have been perfectly fine without all that supernatural, bullshit that we got in the first half. No offense to it, but it was a little jarring, This episode, I really like how the conflict is represented. I think it's realistic. I think it's really well, made, and I think it's really good. I really like it. So, got a 10 for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the mid-season premiere. We'll be back with episode 8. Stay tuned. And, of course, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click to subscribe and you don't miss any of the videos for the Road Rats. Make sure to follow me at Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos for the Road Rats. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.